Good old. I just wanted to say that this morning was a very inspirational series of events. At around 6 o'clock this morning, it began to rain, and I woke up and I heard thunder in the distance, and one of the worst thunderstorms that I've ever been out in passed over me. I mean, the ground was flooded with river. Not river, but literally, you know, the ground was completely flooded. The water was pooling up on the ground. I was in my hammock. It held up great until the wind started picking up, and I think the bottom of my tarp touched my hammock, and where all the water was running off the tarp touched the side of my hammock, and my hammock got wet. And I basically got out of my hammock, hovered over my pack that had all my valuable items that I didn't want to get wet, and I waited it out as the lightning was overhead directly. I could hear thunder. The thunder was immediately preceding the lightning. And then there was a break. There was a brief period where it had stopped raining, so I ran over to my bike and I grabbed out my my rain jacket from the saddlebags, threw it on, ran back under the hammock because it started raining again, or under the tarp. The hammock had gotten wet, but it wasn't soaked, and my blanket had gotten wet as well. So I laid down in the hammock while it rained, and it continued to rain for, I don't know, because I actually dozed off. When I woke up, the rain had stopped. It was probably 5 to 8, and I immediately got to work. I was wet. All my clothes were wet and filthy with dirt, mud, ash from the night before, sweat. All my gear was wet in some way or another, and I immediately packed up all my gear. I threw a bunch of stuff in my pack that I had in my saddlebags, hit the trail. First order of business was to change out of my wet clothes. I went to a gas station that I stopped at the day before that I knew had a bathroom that I could be private in, changed out of my wet clothes. After that, needed to get coffee and charge my phone. Went to the coffee shop, got my phone on the charger. I messaged Tyler back from yesterday, the guy who showed me the camp spot and was riding with me, told him that everything went fine. Then I searched up the nearest laundromat. I freaking went to the laundromat, did my laundry, my blanket, all my clothes. While I was doing my laundry, I was unpacking my gear, laying it out, wringing out what I had to wring out, getting everything reorganized. Finished the laundry, folded and rolled everything, got some of these laundry bags that were like garbage bags, packed all my laundry in there, packed all my other stuff in the other bag on the other side of my saddlebags. So all my gear had been reorganized. All of it was packaged up nicely. Then I hit the gas station, bought a gallon of water, and then the next order of business was drying out my hammock. Went down to the beach. The sun was hot, you know, rising in the sky. It was beaming down. The wind was coming off the water. Found a place where I could hang it up and let that dry. And I chilled out under the awning, let my hammock dry while I had my phone plugged in. And once it was dry, I packed it up. And at that point in time, I literally had my gear ready to camp again tonight. I don't know what it was. I woke up, I had to go, I had to do what I had to do, and I immediately went to work and I handled the situation that could have gone otherwise, you know? If I wouldn't have done my laundry, if I wouldn't have thought to hang my hammock, if I wouldn't have done all those things, I would have been freaking screwed. You know, it really screwed. All my clothes were pretty much dirty. It really, doing my laundry, reorganizing and drying out all my gear, it raised morale 1,000%. So that's that, you know. And I honestly, the little sleep I did get, I slept pretty good last night, and I had a great day today. I'm just staying in South Haven. I'm gonna wait it out. There was a possibility of a thunderstorm today and tonight, so I figured I'd stay here. And tonight, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep checking the forecast, and if there's another possibility of a thunderstorm, then I'm going to stay near some sort of area, some sort of storm-worthy shelter, such as a parking garage or a public restroom or something of the like, because I don't know if they lock them at night, but I can handle rain. A thunderstorm is just too dangerous. I don't want a tree to fall on me. I don't want to get struck by lightning. God forbid it was cold out. It wasn't. But even being wet and it being, 60 degrees, after being wet, I started getting a little bit cold, you know. I have a hoodie and a raincoat to throw on. I got pants. But yeah, it was a big deal for me for some reason. You know, I woke up in complete disarray, and I gathered everything. I gathered myself together. I got all my gear now in laundry bags and garbage bags, packed up. The saddlebags are water resistant, but now what I got, my gear is waterproof. It could rain all night. I'm walking down the beach right now, and this town is safe enough. I just locked my bike up at the bike rack over by the beach. No one's gonna take any of my stuff. No one has any use for it. People here have boats and condos and whatnot. And yeah, so I'm just gonna hang around town and just play it by ear for tonight. This is night 2 in South Haven. I got a better plan for if the weather gets really fucking shitty. I'm gonna leave. I'm not even pulling out my blanket. It's not supposed to get that cold. I got a hoodie and a long sleeve, and I got long pants. And if it gets really fucking bad, everything will be packed up and ready to go. If I hear thunder that's getting near and it starts raining, I'm gonna throw on my raincoat, put on my pack, and fucking take down my hammock real quick, and then ride to this bridge that ain't that far away. But it isn't supposed to rain anymore, so should be okay. But I got my fucking hammock and my tarp rigged up, just in case if there is a light rain that I'll be okay. I'm about to enjoy me some of these Nutter Butters, and then I'm about to bed down. End of night 5. This morning I was really feeling it. Nutter Buddies. I don't know if you can see that, but I got my fucking sleeping pad in a garbage bag. I got my clothes in laundry sacks. Yeah, so that's about that. So I got all my stuff packed up. Everything's all nice and waterproofed in bags, and got my bedroll, my sleeping pad in a bag here. Everything in here is in a laundry bag. I slept pretty good last night. I'd say I got a solid 6 hours at least. This is the last night I'm staying here in South Haven, and today I'm moving on. So I'm headed into town. Stopped at Dunham's, new shoes, new hammock. So I'm at Grandmere State Park. I made it to St. Joe earlier today. It looked like it was gonna storm, so I hunkered down at a grocery store. Storm went right past us. Now I'm at Grandmere State Park. About to walk out to the beach. As far as I can tell, there's no vehicle access here. Another thing, as far as I can tell, is it says no camping. And I think that's absolute bullshit. And so I'm not saying I'm saying I'm gonna stay here. I'm not saying I'm not. But if the weather is gonna hold up, we'll see. Whatever happens, happens. All right, I got a plan. It's easy to get lost back here. So, gotta keep that in mind. But it's only supposed to rain at 9 o'clock. I know that there's a rain awning over there. If I can hide my gear, go get some water, come back, hide the rain out, make it back over to the beach area, I can have a sick fucking camping spot. And it'll be fucking glorious when I wake up in the morning. Holy fuck. I got my gallon. I got my fucking snack mix. I got most of my shit in my fucking backpack. I just lugged this fucking fat motherfucker up the steepest sand dune I may have ever climbed in my life. I'm looking at the weather, man, and I don't know, man. I'm unsure, and I'm really fucking scared, but this is the only chance I have. I'm just crossing my fingers that this blows past. Because if this storm doesn't hit me, I should be good. If it does hit me, I'm going down, taking cover under my tarp, and I'm waiting it out because that's all I can do. We'll fucking see. I'm at pretty much the highest point in this park, and I'm really fucking hoping, man. The red sky's right over there. There's the storm. It looks like the red sky should be coming towards us, man, but there's no way of knowing. So, pretty much everything about that was a horrible fucking idea. Everything. That was hands down the worst camp spot that I've picked this entire week. Maybe it would have been a good camp spot if I showed up earlier. I hiked around for like 2 hours, and on top of that, I can't fucking tell what the weather's gonna do over here. It says it ain't gonna rain. I look at the fucking lake. There's fucking lightning. There's dark clouds off in the distance. I'm not gonna take that chance. I'm not putting myself in that position. It was cool for about 15 minutes. There was a bunch of stars. I was out there by myself. It was cool. And then the reality of finding a place to fucking bed down when it's pitch black, it ain't happening. And then as I'm like rolling out my tarp and my bed shit, I'm like looking off in the distance and I'm seeing a bunch of lightning and shit. And I was like, you know what? This is just it's too fucking risky. Not even to mention how fucking hard it was to lug my shit up those dunes. That was the most physically demanding part of this trip thus far. I had to take my shirt off. On the way there, I had my wife beater. It got soaked. I don't even know where it's at. I might be down a wife beater. No, I found it. It got soaked in fucking sweat. On top of that, okay, so when I went to go back, I knew it was gonna be a disaster. They don't have any of that shit marked. There's not a single sign back there. Not a single sign. Pitch black, mind you. I got on a little headlamp with 10 lumens. Even 1,000 lumens wouldn't have done shit. I start going back. I'm lugging my shit. I'm fucking doing this shit. I haven't even recovered. I got about a fucking pound of sand in my shoe I just emptied out. So I'm trying to fucking make my way back, because then this was my second thought. Oh, I'll just set up in that picnic shelter and set my alarm really early. I'm just trying to get a few hours of sleep, you know, start packing my shit up and set out at fucking sunrise. Well, I couldn't for the life of me. Nobody possibly could have figured out the exact path home. Not home, the exact path out. There was a million fucking paths. Not a single thing is marked. It's pitch black. I had to take my shirt off because I'm lugging all my gear. I lugged all my gear back there. I lugged all my gear out. I did not lose a single thing. That's the only positive. So I'm trying to find my way, and all that I have is a slight memory and trying to follow the most traffic looking path. I can't wait. I can't even, oh my God. I couldn't even pull out my fucking phone. The moment I stopped, bugs swarmed me. I probably have 1 million mosquito bites. I hope not. I really fucking hope not. But anyhow, I'm fucking struggling my way with all my shit, trying to get back through, trying to fucking get back out, trying. I didn't panic because I knew, worst comes to worst, I will be pacing these trails all night. That's it. I think it's a full fucking moon too. I see it right the fuck there. God. I'm just taking each trail, lugging all my shit. My back, this pack fucking chafes. The moment I get a chance to recover, I'm repacking all my shit on my rack. I literally don't even want to stop and do that now. It's pitch black. It's still state park area. And it was a fucking nightmare. God damn, that fucking sucked. But you know what? It kind of motivated me. That sucked. That, I'm sorry. I would have rather fucking slept in it anywhere. Anywhere but there. But it motivated me. Yeah, throughout this whole thing, I'm lugging a fucking gallon of water. I sit down to eat my trail mix. I fucking had bug spray all over my hand. I'm eating straight fucking bug spray. Oh my God. Oh, it was not meant to be back at that spot. It was fucking cool for a minute. It was a mission. It was a mission that did not succeed. Unfortunately. So, obviously I made it out. It was incredibly difficult. I exerted myself incredible amounts. See a light? Maybe I can fucking... No, not yet. I have one shoe half off my foot, the other shoe filled with sand. But it motivated me. I'm going to fucking, I'm riding through the night. Possibly all night. Till the sun fucking comes up and I can find a park to put my hammock, cover my eyes, and try to catch a few fucking Z's. But I'm going. I'm fucking getting some miles in because now it's cooled off. The wind has died down. Apparently, it's not supposed to rain. So, I'm gonna make the most of it and I'm gonna fucking have a little night ride. I'm kind of excited. I've been going to bed pretty early since this started, so that's it for the update. So, I was just thinking, as a little message, I've learned a lot this week. And for anyone who thinks that it might be fun to be doing this, it is fun for some of it, but most of it is extremely grueling. So quick update here. As you can see, I'm in a hotel room. I pretty much was forced into getting a hotel room today. Something about this fucking town. What ended up happening last night, I got into town. It was, I don't know, probably around 2 o'clock in the morning, and this town is just no good unless you have a car or you have a cabin or a place to stay. It's like there's no nooks and crannies. There's no little, okay, there's a nature preserve. I showed up way too late. It's useless. And the insects are so bad. Literally, to set my hammock up, I'd have to put my pants on, my hoodie on, pull my hood up, put my bug net over my head, douse myself in bug spray. There's no way that I could have done that. I couldn't find it. it was a nightmare. So I'm riding around looking for a place to sleep. Couldn't find anything. Searching shit, searching parks. Couldn't find anything. I started, so, you know, my hand was forced. I was absolutely exhausted. This town just isn't set up for anything like what I'm doing. It's just not good. So I start calling nearby hotels. None of them have any rooms left for the night. So I was looking at my map. I looked for a church. I found a church. I rode around back. I fucking threw my pad down on the ground, and because I just needed a nap. I just needed to lay down. I needed to get a little bit of sleep. And I literally slept behind the church for like 3 hours. I actually did get some sleep. Woke up as the sun was coming up. Was absolutely exhausted. And I was laying on my phone in some sort of way on my mat. Something got pressed or something, and like the screen was wonking out, and I was scared. I mean, that if the phone goes, then I'm in some deep shit, you know? So I just, you know, I restarted it a few times, gave it some time, wiped off the screen. Everything's working all right now, luckily. Knock on wood. And so I started searching up fucking parks. There's no park. It's not like where I live. There's no parks where you can have any privacy. There's no parks with any privacy where I could hang my hammock. My idea was to go find a park that I could hang my hammock at so I could get a nap in. None of the parks around here have that availability. So the sun started coming up. Started getting real hot. I fucking booked a room at this here hotel. And came on over here at like 7 o'clock. I couldn't even go to McDonald's. The McDonald's dining room isn't even open. So I came on over here at 7 o'clock, and I went in at like 8 o'clock into the lobby. And I told the lady my situation, that I'm just going to be hanging out around this hotel until I'm able to check in, because I have nowhere else to go. There's nowhere else for me in this town. I was absolutely exhausted. And she took my number down. And then she called me at like 10 o'clock. I was sitting out there eating a muffin, drinking a coffee, and she put me in a room. So I got this room at 10 o'clock. First thing I did was fucking grab my stuff, took a shower, took like a fucking 30-minute good shower. Then I took like a 3-4 hour nap. And now I'm just trying to figure out. I'm staying here in New Buffalo tonight, you know, and that's not a problem, because the way that I had that planned out in a way is that I was going to stay in St. Joe last night and do St. Joe to New Buffalo today anyways. And it kind of worked out well, because it's extremely hot outside. Very, very hot. So right now I'm just looking at where I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm like 5 miles from the Indiana border. So I'm going to be crossing state lines tomorrow. That'll be a first on my bike. Yeah, that's it. I've got nothing else left to say, man. Just sitting in here drinking a Powerade, trying to get as much rest as I can. I'm going to repack my gear again. Hopefully I'm going to be able to repack it in a way where it's as condensed as possible. I got an idea, you know, I got ideas. But that's it. New Buffalo. May be pretty right now, but it's not all that great. It's been one of the most unforgiving towns this far. I've made it to Indiana.